This is a HeadGum podcast.
Hello and welcome to The Complete Guide to Everything, a podcast about everything. I am one of your hosts, Tom.
And I'm Tim.
Tim, you're slow on setting the timer.
I know. You asked me if I was...
Otherwise, we'd be here for 5 hours blabbering if you didn't time us.
Little inside baseball. As we start the recording every week, I start a stopwatch to make sure we don't do 1 minute more than we're contractually obligated.
Absolutely necessary. Yeah. I don't know why we signed those contracts.
I don't know who we signed them for.
I don't know. It was just a man. He looked professional. He had a briefcase.
We signed him.
He was like, please sign here. And
He's
he did that
fedora.
Thing where he put the little red sticker where you have to sign. It was like, ooh, very professional.
Yeah. I need to get those stickers. Just put them on things.
I want to start signing my name as an X. Like they do for people
like
that...
an illiterate person from the 1910s?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because nobody can stop me.
Yeah.
My signature, I don't know about you, is degraded so much over time.
I worry about that. Not because of
that like I'm not
going
to be able to get back into my bank account if they ever are like, you know what, actually sign your name and we're going to compare it against the signature you provided us 20 years ago.
Yeah, that's the thing with voting. Yeah. A lot of absentee ballots. They have these knuckleheads come in, or like partisan hacks, and they confirm that it's your signature if you're voting absentee, and a lot of them just get like thrown out just because
it's like subjective.
It's like jeepers creepers. I signed that when I was 18 years old, and I was like, "Ooh, my civic duty. Let me really."
Every time when I go to vote, you have to sign, at least in New York, you have to sign your name, and it's right next to that signature, your first signature. And every year, I'm like, what? That was how I used to sign. Let me try and do that again.
I was going by Timmy back then.
Yeah, little Timmy.
Yeah.
With hearts over the eyes.
Yeah, it's cute.
How are you doing this week?
I'm doing good. Full disclosure, I can't really draw a heart.
What?
They wind up too narrow, too skinny.
I could see that for you.
Yeah. I don't have a wide berth when I...
You've got like a real tall style of writing.
I got a tall and tight. That's what they call it.
Yeah, you got a real tall and tight style of writing.
It's the opposite of my body type. Of little and loose.
What did I ask? Oh, how you're doing.
Yeah, I'm doing fine. I don't know. I'm concerned about my signature, we'll say.
Okay.
How are you doing this week?
I'm doing good, Tim. I was thinking last night, I was taking a trip down memory lane. Well, I've told you about all these weird YouTube channels I watch.
Yeah, the Joe Rogan Experience.
The Joe Rogan. I mean, I get recommended those an insane amount.
And they know what you like.
And if they're taught, well, they know that if it's something about aliens or Bigfoot or whatever, like I'll click.
Intellectual dark web.
But
PC culture and how it's ruining everything.
No, I like PC culture.
I'm fine with it.
Yeah. Fine with it until I get canceled. I'll tell you that much. And then I'll start touring as a canceled guy.
Maybe getting canceled would be the best thing that could happen
financially.
To us.
It'd probably be great.
Yeah, because like we're being ourselves and free reign.
Yeah, has been like middling success.
Maybe if we become a cause,
right?
Really start rabble rousing.
Really start ratcheting up that Patreon once we can start saying people are trying to assault our free speech.
Exactly. Go to low rent comedy clubs in 6th tier cities.
So last night I was falling down a rabbit hole watching a bunch of videos about Laserdisc technology and VHS technology.
Very cool.
It was very cool. I didn't know why Laserdiscs failed as hard as it did.
Because they were too big. They looked like records mixed with CDs, and people thought it was unnatural.
No, that wasn't why. I mean, that was part of it, that they weren't as portable. You know, if you went to your friend's house with a Laserdisc as opposed to a VHS tape, you know, there's one you could just stuff in a jacket pocket and one that you have to hold under
I mean, you could hold a vinyl record, too, but it wasn't as fragile, right?
I don't think they were necessarily
fragile.
Yeah.
Well, when I was a kid, also, I was like, you better be real careful with the CD.
Well, I was going to say, we were only exposed to Laserdiscs in school.
Yeah.
And they were like, if you if any of you even dream of touching this thing.
It's like, yeah, we get it, Mr. DeCanio. Enough. Stop yelling at us about it.
But understandably, because it was like the one expensive thing our school had.
Yeah.
It was like one Laserdisc player and a handful of educational Laserdiscs.
I bet those educational, I bet they got hosed by
I bet they were hundreds of dollars. Yeah. So I totally get them being like, nobody can even go near these things.
Yeah.
But I don't think
grubby prints all over it, you acne-ridden teenage boys. Stop touching it.
You're getting all your oils on it.
Yeah.
And your hormones.
Oh, man. I was just oozing oils when I was a teenager.
Ugh.
Kind of oozing oils now.
Oh, all right. I don't want to hear about it.
Essential oils, Tom.
Oh,
I'm always spritzing.
You've gotten with the times.
Yeah, I'm spritzing. I'm moisturizing.
I almost got an air diffuser. Not an air. What do they call them? An oil diffuser.
Yeah.
Recently. I don't know why. I was like, yeah, that's a good thing. I should have that. And then I thought about it. I was like, why do I need that? I don't think
it's a bad thing to have. I just don't like when you walk into a Muji and they have like 5 of them going.
Yeah, and you get all the mixed up smells.
Yeah, and it's just too strong. Yeah. I think a nice low-level diffuser's a great addition to any home.
Now, what's the difference between that and a Glade plug-in if you really get down to it?
That infuses the... There's water in it, so it's kind of like a humidifier, as I understand
There's water in the oil?
No, there's water.
As I understand it, water and oil don't mix.
I know, and that's what this is banking on.
Okay.
No, I think it heats up it's kind of like a humidifier. No, this is the diffuser.
Okay.
And then it filters that through the oils into the air.
Is that what a humidifier is doing? It's heating up the water?
I think so.
No idea. I have no idea how it gets the water out of there.
How else would it be?
I thought maybe it spins it real quick.
Like a sprinkler.
Yeah, like spins it so quick that it turns into mist.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah, because we have
because the water isn't hot when it comes. The vapor isn't hot.
Sometimes it is. There's hot water, but we have in my house we have a cold water.
Yeah, vapor.
Humidifier.
Yeah, that's what I have.
Yeah, how the hell does that work?
That's what I'm saying.
Well, anyway, I'm not even talking about that.
Okay.
The Glade plug-in is like a bar of soap that they attach to a plug, and it just melts that like real disgusting smelling bar of soap.
Yeah.
Until it fills your house.
That's not bad either.
Or it's like liquid dial soap. That it just boils and
slowly boils.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't mind that.
I don't like the Glade Corporation.
You don't like the fresh linen plug-in? It smells like fresh linen
it's
right
too
off
much.
the line.
It's too much. Glade wants their smells to overtake
every other
every
smell.
facet of your life. Yeah.
Yeah, actually now I'm thinking about it, I do have a Glade plug-in. And I've never had it plugged in for like more than an hour because then it just becomes like overwhelming.
Yeah.
Where it's like I'm getting a headache from the smell.
Yeah. Maybe you're supposed to live in a dang mansion.
Right. Yeah. That's who the Glade Corporation
is. If you have 35-foot ceilings, then
they should sell.
It smells normal in there.
Ones for New York City apartments where it's just like a little teeny guy.
Yeah.
And just puts out a little suggestion of a smell.
We should start that. And also it'd be real cheap to make because they'd be small.
I think they're real cheap to make regardless.
Yeah.
But then what's an oil diffuser? What's the difference then?
What? I told you the water goes through the oil and
water goes through the oil?
Yeah.
So you have to put water in an oil diffuser, not just the oil?
I think so.
Huh.
I have no idea. The other thing is I don't like that stuff, and I don't like when people light candles because I'm afraid... Every time I smell a new smell that I'm not expecting to smell, I think I'm having a stroke.
Well, one time you're going to be right.
I know, exactly. So, like, I always have to be like, did somebody light a candle in here? Okay, good, thank God. Because, before I confirm that a candle has been lit, like in my office or something.
Yeah. Your office? What a new age office are you working in?
people have candles in the office. Listen, I don't want to be the guy that goes to HR all the time, but guess what? I'm becoming that guy. But because I immediately start to panic, it's like, oh, this is a stroke, and then I start to I convince myself that I'm having an episode, and I start to get dizzy and stuff, and then I'd be like, oh no, that lady just lit a candle, everything's fine. Everything snaps back into place and back to work, Tim.
Yankee Candles?
Yankee Candles. I think it's more kind of upscale.
Ooh.
There are all these
more upscale than Yankee Candle.
Yeah, there are these candle brands that people will say the name of, and I go, oh right, and just to pretend like I'm high class and I know these things.
Candle brands.
Yeah.
The last time me and you and a bunch of other people like went to a house for a weekend just to hang out, just to chill.
Just to chill, not to kill anybody. Not to commit a murder.
No. Did an accident happen and somebody died? Yeah. But that has nothing to do with it.
Maybe. But if that did happen, we'll be taking that to the grave. Thank you.
Right. And maybe
if somebody steps out of line,
maybe the person just ran away and that's why they're missing.
Exactly.
One of my favorite things to do when we go upstate or anything like that is go to Walmart because there are no Walmarts in New York City. And I almost bought so many candles at Walmart just because they were cheap. It was like, I could use some candles.
This is why you shouldn't be allowed in stores or on the internet because you'll buy things
if they're cheap. Yeah, I'll think to myself, what if I want this one day?
I've been at like rest stops with you, and you'll buy insane candies or chips that you don't even want, and you're just like, it was 99 cents.
Yeah. I mean, that's good. That's better than spending my money on expensive things. I spend it on a lot of small, frivolous things.
Cluttered, weird hoarder house.
I was going to say, though, the reason why I brought this up was I was thinking about, so what it boils down to, the reason why VHS beat Laserdisc was that VHS in the beginning was just sold on the idea of, hey, you can tape things off TV.
Yeah.
Which you couldn't do before then, which is hard to even remember. That if you want to watch a show, you had one shot at it and you had to be home.
God, I long for those days.
I don't know if you do.
Everything on demand stinks.
Well, having this much stuff is
it's a paradox
kind
of choice. And also, it's the same thing with music. I can't get into a dang album because if by the middle of the second song, I'm just like, this isn't immediately perfect to me.
Yeah,
there's a million other things I can listen to.
I
just want to be forced to be like, hey, it's 8:30. You have 3 options.
Well, so along those lines, and also, Tim, we're not that old that we're from like pre-cable and there were only 3 channels.
When I was a kid, when there were only a few channels I was allowed to watch when I was like 4 or 5.
Yeah, but back then cable was different too. They weren't allowed to say shit and show butts.
Yeah.
Cable was still like pretty safe.
Yeah.
But I was thinking
Tell that to my mom who wouldn't let me watch You Can't Do That on Television on dang Nickelodeon.
Yeah, well, that would have turned you into even more of a monster than you are today.
It would have been, I had all those oils coming out of me when I was a teenager. I would have been covered in slime as well.
But it got me thinking about recording things, and I remembered, did you ever do this? Like, I would do this pretty regularly, where, like, as a teenager, I would record, like, MTV, like, Liquid Television or whatever.
Mm-hmm. That show was never good to me.
Yeah, it was never good, but they'd Beavis and Butthead sometimes.
Yeah.
But, like, I would just record, like, a night of MTV programming, and then, like, watch that sometimes. Watch it, like, front to back. Not watch one show. Just be like, you know what? I wish MTV nighttime programming were on right now. Well, I can make that happen. And I'll watch this
cool
episode
as hell.
of this episode of 120 minutes for the, like, millionth time.
That's a streaming service for you.
Oh, I should start streaming those old tapes.
Man, if you could get the MTV archives. I mean, this might only appeal to me and 8 other people.
Right.
But if I could relive MTV, like a night of MTV from 1996.
Yeah, with like the old commercials. There's probably a YouTube channel out there that has this stuff.
Yeah, I would pay for that. So I would cancel Netflix and get that and be like, okay, I don't have to like figure out what I'm just going to be like, hey, what's on? Oh, MTV. Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. The Cranberries video.
Do you think you'd have to slather yourself in oil to get back in the same mind frame?
Yeah, I'd do that. I'd order a pizza. I would eat pizza a lot in the 90s.
You eat pizza a lot now.
Not a lot.
I think you eat pizza more now than you did in the 90s. Now you have more money and it's easier to order pizza.
Guess what? My parents were footing the bill back then.
Your parents weren't. If you were watching MTV at 9 o'clock at night, you could not be like, Ma, I want pizza.
Sometimes.
What?
On like a Friday night, if my parents were going out and I was like 12 years old, they'd and I had friends over or something, they'd leave $20 for a pizza.
Yeah, I do remember that now. I remember not 12. We weren't friends yet, but I remember being at your house and it was like, my mom left me money for pizza and be like, yeah.
You were kind of a bully back then. Is that the only reason you hung out? It's like, oh, we'll get pizza at Tim's house.
Yeah, hey,
Timmy's house.
Hey, Timmy's parents probably left him a cool 20 for pizza. Let's go eat it. The pizza, not the money.
Fair play. Tom, this week we're talking about a man. A movie man.
Yeah.
Some say a magic man.
Magic man?
A fan of magic. Was he ever on a David Blaine special?
I don't think so. I don't know if he is a fan of magic.
I bet Leo introduced him to David Blaine.
Oh, yeah. Leo's a fan of magic.
Yeah.
He and David Blaine go way back.
Yeah. We're talking about Brad Pitt this week.
Yeah.
On the set of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, do you think Leo brought David Blaine to wow his new friend Brad?
I think that because Leo was in the movie. I could see him doing that, and I could see Quentin Tarantino getting real mad.
I don't know. I could see Quentin Tarantino and David Blaine being buds. Like, really, the yin and the yang.
Yeah, I mean, I could see them being like a Jay and Silent Bob.
Yeah.
Where Quentin does all the talking, and David Blaine he's just doing sleight of hand.
Shuffling cards and stuff. Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'd watch that show, too.
Yeah. Those are two guys, Quentin Tarantino and David Blaine, who, like, I really like both of them, but I find both of them insufferable in many, many different ways.
Oh, yeah.
And their work.
Yeah, 100%. I simultaneously love and hate everything they do.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Well, hey, maybe we could get a double act. Maybe that's what Quentin Tarantino will do in retirement.
Maybe.
Just hang around with David Blaine. You'll see him in the background of when David Blaine is doing his specials for, like, it's like Morgan Freeman is watching him do a card trick.
And Quentin Tarantino's rifling through his record collection in the background or something.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, cool.
Actually, David Blaine got really... Like, I feel like now it'll be like, hey, David Blaine, Magic Unleashed or whatever they'd call it. He'd call it something even cooler than that. It'd be like, hey, Jared Kushner, pick a card, any card. Anyway, remember when David Blaine had that special and it was like him doing a card trick to George W. Bush, but it was like filmed at some weird...
It was like a Chinese boardroom, and it was filmed in a way that looked like a hidden camera.
Yeah.
And George W. Bush goes, he got my watch. He stole the former president's watch.
William Bradley Pitt. Tom, he just celebrated a birthday about a month and a week ago. About 6 weeks ago by the time this airs.
Yeah.
Do you know what how old this man is?
He's 56.
He is. And does that bum you out a little bit?
No, because like he's been around for a long time. It does maybe at first blush, but then when you think about it, it's like, that guy's been around he's been a hunk since the 80s.
Yeah, you want to know what's depressing
and he
to
wasn't
me
like
about
a
it?
boyish hunk in the 80s. He was like a man, but he was like a man. It wasn't like, oh, I want to, he's so cute. It was like, no, he's like a dang hunk.
Yeah. I think the main thing about getting older that bums me out
is the inevitable death that follows.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. I don't know. I think about that a lot. Like, well, how's it going to actually happen? Right? But really...
We talked about that a few weeks ago, about how we both imagined our last words would be, no, 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 no. And please don't.
No, you misunderstood. No,
I had this dream I know you don't like hearing about dreams, but I had this dream a few months ago where I was driving I was in a car and the driver was driving way too fast and drove off the edge of a cliff. And it was the most realistic dream. And I was just in the car as it's like flying through the air, just going like, oh, there's no, for a half second being like, maybe we're not going to be okay. I'm going to die. And it was horrible. That's how I don't want to die, driving off a cliff.
Okay.
Much like Thelma and Louise.
That's exactly starring our friend William Bradley Pitt.
Billy Pitt.
No, the thing about getting old is that when people you remember being young but older than you when you were like a kid are now turning into like old people.
Yeah.
Like I remember.
And you're like, oh, I'm not that far behind, huh?
Yeah. And it's like, I remember Entertainment Tonight in the early 90s, like when Thelma and Louise came out. It was like, young hunk Brad Pitt, new on the scene. And it's like, oh, I remember when this guy was a young hunk, and now he's like an elder statesman of
an elder hunk,
an elder hunksman.
Yeah, I mean, I talked about last week. I don't know if I mentioned this, but was it last week, the week before? Going to see the Harry Potter play.
Yeah,
and it really bummed me out because at some point, like Harry, Hermione, and Ron all mentioned that they're 40 years old. And I'm like, they have teenage kids. And I was like, oh, I guess I could have a teenage kid technically.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, well, 40's not that old. And then I'm like, for my entire life up until a few years ago, 40 was the oldest you could be.
Up until a few years ago, you said?
Yeah, like a few years ago, 40 was impossibly old. And it's only now that I'm approaching it that I'm like, yeah, it's not that old.
Yeah. You tell yourself a lot of things.
And then I also think like, it's not that old. I still feel great. I'm like, I don't feel great at all. I feel terrible all the time.
Do you really feel terrible all the time?
No, not all the time. I've felt good recently, but I don't bounce back from things nearly as quickly. That's really the big difference.
Here's what I think happened to us. We really went to shit in our 20s, right? But we could handle it,
right?
Because we were
in our
20s.
Body of a 20-year-old.
Yeah, and then our 30s hit, not the 30s,
right?
Our 30s, and we continued being shitty
for longer than was necessary.
And we're just like, oh no, now we feel shitty.
Yeah.
And it took us a while. And I think we're both on the upswing here of taking care of ourselves and being adults.
Yeah.
Because I feel better than I did like 3 years ago.
Oh yeah, I would say that. I feel like it's only been very recently that I've been able to like correlate things to other things.
Right? When you feel bad and like you think about like, well, what did I eat or do today that might contribute to this?
Yeah. Or how many times I'm like, God, I'm so freaking tired, and not realize, well, you only slept 5 hours last night. That's probably why you're tired.
But 5 hours when you were 25, it's like like a heavy sleep night.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like you've only slept 5 hours and you've put garbage into your body. Of course you're tired. Anyway, Brad Pitt. A guy, do you think that guy's ever felt like garbage?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably, because he was like a real heavy drinker for a while there.
Yeah, he's, you know what? I think Brad Pitt seems like a real person.
Yeah.
Like Tom Cruise doesn't seem like a real person.
He does, but he's just like a terrifying person that you never want to meet for real.
Right.
But then if you did, but I'm saying that, but if I ran into Tom Cruise tomorrow, I would be back here saying, you know who's the nicest man I've ever met? Tom Cruise. And that's what's so scary about him.
Yeah.
I'm going to his house this weekend to do some gardening.
Oh, after you met him. This is the hypothetical.
Right.
You delivered that and you looked at me as if that was a true statement.
Yeah, well, I'm a very good actor, much like Brad Pitt.
2 things about Brad Pitt.
Mm-hmm.
Number 1, he should be my least favorite actor.
Based on what? How handsome he is?
No, because his trademark is in his in scenes. He's always eating while he talks.
Yeah, it's a good actor.
He's always like eating an apple.
Right. Oh, yeah, and you have misophonia or whatever.
Yeah, misophonia, and he's just like, hey. And it's like, but I'm just, God damn it if I'm not like man, this casual man really speaks to me.
I mean, you like it when Bugs Bunny does it.
No, I hate it. That's the number one reason why I can't stand Bugs Bunny.
Number one reason.
There's a lot of reasons. It's a long list. And it's number one is tied. Man, I hate Bugs Bunny so much.
Really?
Yeah.
He's the best.
I know. You know what the thing is? He's a stinker.
Right. Yeah, he's the best until he turns his wit on you.
And that's the thing, Tom. You're like, oh, he's great. And like you're one of these guys that doesn't realize nobody...
and I'm like a classic Bugs Bunny foil. He'd be running circles around.
Exactly. Also, Brad Pitt always seems like he's on the verge of getting canceled. Like, at any point, you bring up Brad Pitt, and I'm expecting for everybody in the room to just be like, what? You like that piece of shit?
Yeah.
But no, he's more beloved at this moment than ever before.
Well, he went through a minute there because he was having a messy divorce from Angelina Jolie, and she accused him of having a drinking problem and being I don't know if she accused him of being physically abusive.
I don't know,
but emotionally abusive.
Yeah, that
for
never.
Sure.
I don't know. I don't follow that stuff.
Yeah, that's kind of the way I feel with it, where it's like, oh, how do we feel about Brad Pitt? I haven't really been keeping up.
Yeah.
I know he was a drunk, and that seemed real bad, but maybe his PR took care of that.
But Arthur was a drunk, and we love him.
That's true. Arthur.
What? I've never seen Arthur. Have you ever
seen Arthur? No, of course not.
You're not a big Dudley Moore head?
Mm-mm.
Can I say one thing, Tom?
What?
And I'm just going to address...
You know what? I think this has been why people feel better about him. Because, he kicked drinking. But B, he keeps having these run-ins with Jennifer Aniston.
Jen!
And we all know Jennifer Aniston. Jennifer Aniston has...
Brad and Jen.
Jennifer Aniston has been desperate for a husband for the last 20 years.
Tom, don't say that. That's not true.
That's what I read in the newspapers.
Stop it. That's awful. She's not. Jen Aniston
Then why can't she keep a man?
Tom, shut up. She's a delight. And the morning show wasn't as bad as everybody said.
Did you watch it?
I watched the first 2 episodes.
Oh, okay. No, I mean, that's what I've heard, that the critics panned it, but that a lot of people are like, nah, it's good. I like it.
Well, no, it's not good, and I didn't like it. But
I heard it got better in later episodes.
That's fine. Yeah, maybe. Look, not everything has to be good. You can watch bad things all the time. That's what I do. Who owns the Internet Movie Database?
Amazon, yeah.
Amazon? Okay, I'd like to address Jeff Bezos.
Yeah, he's listening.
Hey, Baldy, is what I say.
Or if the Saudi Arabian government's listening to this, send it to him.
Hey, Chrome Dome, I got a suggestion for you. Or a demand, even. When you put in a famous actor's name into the search bar and their profile comes up, don't show me their producer credits first.
Yeah, that's not what I'm
looking up Brad Pitt. I looked up, and before we were talking about Will Ferrell.
Yeah.
Both of them, I was like, Will Ferrell wasn't in this movie. What the hell? Oh, producer?
Yeah.
Who cares?
And people know that, some producers are literally producing the movie, and some producers, it's like, they're just a famous person, and they introduce somebody to somebody else and vouch for them, and they get a producer credit.
William Bradley Pitt founded Plan B, and that's like a production company that like he actually runs and does a good job with.
Yeah, so but I'm not saying like Will Ferrell's a producer on Succession.
Yeah.
And I don't think he's like in the writer's room.
No, but he's a producer.
Right.
His production company did it.
Right, but I don't think he's intimately involved in it.
He was probably involved in the
selling of it to HBO, but then after that, I bet he was like, all right, you know, I'm out.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll just be cash my check.
Look,
and it's not a bad thing, Because it's probably like, you guys know what you're doing. You don't need to hear from old Will Ferrell.
I feel like somebody here needs to stand up for producers while you're just slandering them as do-nothings.
Tim, you're just trying to join the Producers Guild of America.
It is my 2020 goal to join a guild of some sort so I can get screeners for next year's...
So not a guild of some sort, an entertainment guild.
Yeah.
An entertainment industry guild, not because you can't join like the Steelworkers Guild. They don't get screeners.
Yeah, I know. What I was saying is
but maybe
a guild that would allow me to get these screeners.
The DVD Manufacturers of America Guild.
No, they don't even do it through DVDs anymore.
They do.
Do they?
They do it through websites and DVDs.
I've got so much to learn. Maybe the guild will explain this to me while I'm filling
I worked with somebody years ago who I don't think was part of a guild. Maybe they were, but they got screeners, and this person would just like dump them all on a table and be like, and this is working at a tech company, and they were like, hey, if anybody wants any of these, they're here. And it's like, oh, there's a dozen people here who know how to rip this and upload it and like get you thrown in jail for this. Yeah. So I understand how that shit still leaks all the time.
Yeah. If I ever win the lottery or join a guild that allows me to get Oscar screeners or award season screeners of movies, none of my friends would know about it.
You would tell people if you got the lottery, sure, keep that to yourself. Yeah, but you would tell people if you got screeners because you would brag about it. You'd be like, "Oh, yeah, I saw that."
No, because I don't want you being like, "Hey, can Tommy get a taste of this?"
No,
like,
I'm not going to upload it.
It'll be on the dark web. You and your intellectual dark web friends will have a field day.
I
want
to see what the other eggheads think about it.
Eggheads, more like I don't know. Forget it. Tom, do you know what Brad Pitt's first credited appearance was?
No, I don't.
His first credit was a film called Hunk.
Oh, of course it was. And was he the titular hunk?
He was not.
What?
He was...
don't tell me it was like Edward James Olmos or something.
Guess what? I said it was his first credited. No, he was uncredited. He was Boy at the Beach.
Oh, a boy at the beach in a movie called Hunk. Huh.
Yeah. And you want to know what the plot of Hunk was?
What?
A computer nerd makes a deal with the devil and gets a new beefcake body.
Oh, I'd watch that movie. That sounds good.
Yeah, how come we haven't heard of this movie, Hunk?
Yeah.
1987. It's John Allen Nelson was the character of Hunk Golden.
Hunk Golden? That was his name?
Yeah, I guess so.
Was that his name after the deal with the devil or before?
One must assume that it's right.
But I could also see if he was a boy named Hunk and he wasn't a hunk, he would be desperate to make a deal to become a hunk.
Yeah.
That checks out.
There's one quote on IMDb from the movie, and it's the character of Hunk Golden, as portrayed by John Allen Nelson, saying, I finally meet a beautiful woman, and she wants me to bomb Pearl Harbor. Talk about romantic.
What? Tim, let's talk about some of Billy's later films.
Billy Brad.
Because nobody knows
Billy
about
Bradley.
those movies. I want to go through, I've assembled a list. I'm going to go from oldest to newest. Not everything's on here, but notable things are on here. And there's probably a couple of notable things that aren't on here.
The notable films of Billy Bradley Pitt.
Thelma and Louise, which we already talked about.
Yeah, you know.
He's a hunk in that.
That Gina Davis. A great actress.
And a great archer.
Yeah. She still do that?
I think so. I don't know if she competes.
Older now, right?
Yeah, I don't think she could competes professionally
anymore.
anymore.
Thing.
Gina Davis isn't old enough to compete professionally in archery.
She's too old.
Yeah.
It's sad. I don't like that. It's it's a bummer. Yo. You're skipping things, Tom.
What did I skip?
he was on 2 different episodes of Growing Pains, playing 2 different characters.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know those episodes. I don't know the characters.
You've probably seen them.
Yeah, probably. But
do you think you've seen every episode of Growing Pains? Probably not in the later seasons, right?
Because I remember tuning into later seasons randomly and being like, "What? This show is like semi-unrecognizable."
Yeah, the 6-year-old is now like he's got a mustache.
Yeah. What's his name is old. Benjamin. He's older. Mm-hmm. Chrissy, they aged from a baby into like a 6-year-old.
Yeah, over a summer.
Yeah. Mike moved into the garage,
with
but then
bed.
Yeah, but then he moved out of the garage. Yeah. I think so. It's like, look, the family's torn apart.
And Leonardo DiCaprio shows up.
Yeah.
Do you think he was on an episode with Brad?
Oh, that'd be crazy.
Is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood a Growing Pains reunion?
Somehow a thinly veiled recollection of their time on Growing Pains. Yeah, so I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about movies like Cool World.
Cool World. I feel like that film,
The Poor Man's Who Framed Roger Rabbit, The Pervert's Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
That's how I saw it. That's how I perceived of it.
Yeah.
I've never seen the film, but it has an oddly positive legacy now.
Does it?
I think
all
so.
All I remember about it is seeing the poster at the mall all the time, and Kim Basinger's cartoon character was named Hollywood, and the tagline was Hollywood if she could, and I didn't know what that meant. And even now, I don't really know what that means.
Yeah, no,
I think it
implies something.
She would have sex with them, but cartoons can't have sex with humans, maybe?
Now, okay, so it was a movie where the cool world was like a toon world.
Yeah.
And it was a hard-boiled noir thing, right?
Right. Well, every cartoon human movie is a hard-boiled noir detective story.
Why did it have to be that way?
I don't know, but I mean, that's Cool World, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Detective Pikachu, like all these movies, that's what they are.
Was Cool World meant to be a response or a play on Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
I don't think so, because I think it came out like it had to have been in production.
Like 3 years after.
Yeah, maybe it was then.
Yeah, I don't know. But hey, I'm a big Gabriel Byrne head, so.
Right. He was in an episode of Tales from the Crypt.
Too scary.
But I don't remember it. Then he was in that movie A River Runs Through It, where they were fly fishing. And I think that was America's introduction to fly fishing. Of course, not everybody in America, but the general population's introduction to fly fishing.
Some old people with hats, they knew about it ahead of time.
Right.
Jack Lemmon knew about it.
Hey, you want to go fly fishing? That's my Jack Lemmon.
That's a good Jack Lemmon. I liked it. The thing about early time Brad Pitt.
Early time,
early career.
Mm-hmm.
He was in so many boring movies.
Yeah.
Or boring to me as a child.
Mm-hmm.
Like Thelma and Louise seemed real boring.
Yeah. Well, it's like a lot of talking.
A River Runs Through It. Legends of the Fall. 7 Years in Tibet. Yeah. Meet Joe Black. All these movies just seem so goddamned boring.
Meet Joe Black wasn't boring. Meet Joe Black was a good movie.
Was it?
And that was like later.
That was 98. Yeah. Yeah, that was after like 7 and 12 Monkeys.
Right. So that was after, like, I think guys like me and you were like, all right, I think I'm into this guy. And then he went to see Meet Joe Black, and it was like, nah, he's not being wacky.
Did you only go to see Meet Joe Black so you could see the Phantom Menace trailer before it?
Oh, I forgot about that. That was attached to Meet Joe Black.
They used that to pump up the box office of Meet Joe Black by being like, your first
look at the new Star Wars.
Yeah, exactly.
And people would go and watch the trailer and walk out.
Yeah.
Because they didn't want to see the movie. They just wanted to see the trailer.
Meet Joe Black, for some reason, and I'm going to look this up, but first I'm going to take a guess.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say that movie was 2 hours and 50 minutes long.
Nah, they didn't make movies that long back then.
Yeah, now every movie's that long, but
right.
that was my 2 hours and 58 minutes.
Wow,
that was
really?
a 3-hour movie.
That's insane.
In 1998.
Yeah. Oh, then that's definitely, that had to have been the sell to movie theaters. Like, look, we're going to attach the new Star Wars trailer to it. So you're not going to be able to get as many screenings in per day.
But you're going to fill them up.
Yeah.
They're not going to buy any concessions because they're going to leave right away.
Right.
Maybe they'll buy some Sour Patch Kids on the way out.
That's the craziest thing to me, how movie times have gotten longer, because I remember when we were younger. God, this show's just turning into I remember when we were younger by two
guess
old
what?
fucks.
That's our lane. We're just gonna have to choose something and go with it. That's what it is. Two old fucks. Welcome.
The thing was always like, how many screenings can they fit?
Yeah.
But I guess now, but that was back when there weren't as many multiplexes. Like, then they started building.
What are we doing here? You're telling me about why people bought VHSs and laser discs.
That was back when,
before the rise of the multiplex.
That was back when they had single screen theaters.
I'm talking about how depressing it is that our hunks are now elder statesmen. Jesus Christ. We're not that old. I'm 37.
Yeah. It's old. People are listening to this right now going, you think 37's not that old?
Yeah, that's true. Hey, I'm addressing you, guy or gal that just thought you think 37 isn't old. It's going to be there before you know it.
Yeah.
It goes in a blink of an eye. Cherish it now.
No, but I was going to say, like,
do all the things that you want to do.
Like where we were, it was a relatively small town, and the theaters were very old. Mm-hmm. Like in some cases, from the pre-50s, pre-World War II theaters, and they had maybe 2 or 3 screens.
Right.
Because I remember when the multiplayer, it was like, oh, this place has like a dozen screens. Awesome. And I think now that's...
I'm not going to say what I want to say, but when we're off mic...
No, say it.
Just how exciting a time it was when that multiplex opened and walking through it for the first time.
Yeah.
And just...
It was like, there's a dozen places I can go see movies in. It was an amazing
experience. But, Jesus Christ. Remember it sounded like... Martin Scorsese, like the magic of the cinema when I was a kid.
Yeah, movie tickets were only $0.25. All right, True Romance.
Never saw it.
Me neither.
Is that that's penned by
Quentin?
Right? Yeah,
but not
directed by Tony Scott.
Yeah,
Tony Scott passed away.
I think so.
Okay, so I won't say bad things about him. Yeah. Died 8 years ago.
Interview with the Vampire, which we talked about at length in our Patreon. So sign up if you want to know our thoughts about that. 7. 7 was.
I think you mean 7 and
7s and
yeah.
Because the V was a 7.
Was that always the case?
Yeah, but it wasn't.
Did they have to name the movie that, or could they have not just design the poster that way?
Stylized poster, and I don't believe that
they
was
spell
taken
it everywhere. SE the number 7 EN, which is stupid.
I don't think that I think that was like the poster design, but then somehow that stuck as the way the movie's spelled.
Yeah, well, that stinks.
Yeah, it does.
I wish they didn't do that.
But that was the first movie that I remember seeing Brad Pitt in, where it's like, oh, I like this guy, Brad Pitt. He's not just eye candy. Sometimes he does movies with graphic violence, which me as a teenager, I simultaneously like and am being haunted by.
Yeah, that was a haunting movie.
Then he did 12 Monkeys, which I didn't understand when I saw it.
Oh.
But I liked it.
Really? You didn't understand it?
Not completely.
I feel like that would have been a formative movie for you, just in the entertainment that you like now.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I like La Jetée, the movie it's based on, a lot, which is more like a slideshow, to be honest with you. Talk about a motion picture, not even a motion.
Really?
Just stills.
What?
Yeah, it's a short. I think it's like 26 minutes long.
I saw 12 Monkeys in the theater.
Mm-hmm.
It blew my dang mind.
Yeah.
It was the first time, there's the reveal towards the end, I guess, of like what's happening and who's who. And she's like, oh, no, he was that guy the whole time.
Yeah.
And
well, that's what I'm saying.
And this
was
was a
confusing.
flashback. Yeah. But I also remember only knowing Brad Pitt. I don't think I had seen a Brad Pitt movie up until that point. And all I knew was that he was a hunk in the Thelma and Louise stuff.
Yeah.
And did also boring movies. 7 wasn't really on my radar. It came out the same year. And I saw this, and I was like, no, this guy's like funny because he played a conspiracy theorist, and he was off the rails. And I was like, this guy's great. This guy should win awards.
That was the first time he like stretched his acting muscles in any way. Like the first time, I mean, even 7, it was like he's playing a handsome detective.
Yeah.
Fight Club.
Saw that also, the twist in that blew my mind.
Right. I mean, we were at the exact right age when that movie came out to be like, this is the most insane movie I've ever seen.
It's why I smash up a VW Bug if I ever see one on the street.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Do you remember that thing where he had to say, I don't know why he did this, but he wanted to do Fight Club because it was this like anti-corporate, anti-consumerist thing. And it got out that it was his idea to smash up the Volkswagen Beetle, because they I
hadn't heard this.
Launched that.
Yeah, the new Beetle.
And I think the story went that he was just like, hey, if we're gonna take down consumerist culture, David Fincher, let's fucking smash up one of these cars. And then he's like, I like that. We'll put it in. And then on the Fight Club commentary, he's like, I've since come around. Those cars are actually pretty great, and the Volkswagen Corporation does a lot of good for the world. And it was clear that
somebody got to him.
There was some kind of legal settlement that was reached, and he had to say that publicly somewhere.
Yeah. I mean, and then fast forward a few years, he and David Fincher do a Heineken commercial for the Super Bowl. So, look, it's just a movie.
What an exciting world we live in.
Snatch, which I still don't think I've seen.
I saw it, and I didn't understand a goddamn word anybody said in it.
Right. I mean, that was famously his character talked in.
The whole movie. I didn't understand any of them.
But especially his character, you could not understand what he was saying. The Mexican.
I remember wanting to see that.
With
James Gandolfini was in that.
Was he? And Julia Roberts.
America's Sweetheart.
Yeah.
Man, my God. Top 5 build here. William Bradley Pitt.
Mm-hmm.
Julia Roberts, America's Sweetheart. Tony Soprano himself.
James Gandolfini.
J.K. Simmons.
Mm-hmm.
And Bob Balaban.
Who's that?
You don't know who Bob Balaban is?
I'm sure I do, but I don't know the name. It's a character actor?
Yeah, hold on. You know him. I'm just going to get this picture up. Everybody look at your screens right now. And
oh, yeah. He played the CEO of NBC on Seinfeld and other shows.
Yeah, he did.
Littlefield?
Yeah.
Yeah. Spy Game, which I didn't see. Then he was in Friends with his lover, Jennifer Aniston.
At the time, his wife.
Were they married? Yeah, they were married. They got a divorce.
I believe so. At the time. No.
Oh.
I don't know. Did you see the way that they acted at the Golden Globes?
I know. Well, that's why everybody's got, stars in their eyes again.
I don't know why, because I don't care about any of that stuff.
Right.
The two of them, I'm just, God damn it, I'm rooting for them. I thought those pictures were beautiful. I read every single clickbait article about it.
Yeah, well, it seems like they've both gone through a lot, and they've hopefully both grown as people.
Who cares? They're millionaires who can do whatever they want. They have staffs of dozens to cater to their every desire. We're just like, man, it really feels like they've been through a lot of stuff. But don't they have
Tim Love?
Yeah. Yeah, how is Brad Pitt or Jennifer Aniston supposed to find somebody?
Right, it's hard for them.
Rich, impossibly attractive.
Look, Ben Affleck had to download Bumble or Hinge or whatever.
Guess what? Ben Affleck stinks.
How dare you? Ben Affleck's a good man.
He played Batman in 2 shitty movies.
3 shitty movies, sir.
And now you'll defend him to the death.
No, I've always liked Ben Affleck. You know that. I have a love-hate thing with Ben Affleck.
Yeah, I like Ben Affleck too. It's because he was because of Mallrats.
Then after that, Bradley Pitt was in Ocean's 11, rejoining Julia Roberts and joining his friend Clooney.
You know what? I recently watched Ocean's 11 for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't understand it.
Really? I mean, it's pretty straightforward.
I was mostly looking at my phone, I think.
Then he was in Troy, which was a big flop.
Wait, what happened to Confessions of a Dangerous Mind? Oh, he was only in it for a second.
He was only in that for
I think that was one of an early Plan B production, I think.
Oh, was it? Okay.
I think.
Yeah,
I think, Tom, don't quote me on that.
See that.
Clooney directing, you got to think that...
he's going to go through his friend's company.
Exactly.
Then Mr. and Mrs. Smith, the infamous Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
I wish that movie never happened. But
broke Jennifer Aniston's heart.
It's a shame that movie ever happened, but like, what a beautiful film.
Nobody
I hate what it did to that
movie.
marriage, but totally worth it to get that film out of there.
Yeah, he and Angelina got together while he was still married to Jennifer Aniston, thus breaking her heart and America's heart.
It's none of my business.
Ocean's 13. After that, they went back to the well again. The assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford. Is that slander to call Robert Ford a coward? I mean, he's probably still got family. If I were them, I'd sue. How dare you call my
Gerald Ford?
Great Gerald Ford is no longer with us either. Burn After Reading, which I only saw a couple of years ago, and man, what a great movie.
Can I tell you something?
What?
This was smack dab, or maybe not smack dab in the middle, but this was always seen as one of the Coen brothers' lesser films, as if it were like an Intolerable Cruelty or The Lady Killers.
Right.
And I was always like, no.
It's like a quintessential Coen brother.
Best movie.
Yeah.
And now with the current administration we got, everybody's like, how prescient, how brilliant this is. Everybody's waking up to it now. Guess what? I was there in 2008 in the theater when everybody was panning it.
Yeah.
I'm a visionary, Tom.
Also, Lady Killers is great.
Lady Killers. Well, Tom Hanks' accent is great.
And that's enough.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's enough.
And actually, Tom Hanks' accent is the most often cited reason why that movie sucks.
But those people are wrong.
They are.
But then he did Benjamin Buttons.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I never saw that.
Tim, you talk about that movie all the time. You've never seen it?
It scares me.
He ages backwards.
I know, that's terrifying.
Yeah, so when he was a young man, he looks like Brad Pitt does now. We can go back to that movie now and see how good it was.
Wait, when he was a baby, did he look like an impossibly old man?
Oh, yeah, it was like this little wrinkled old man.
That stinks.
Yeah, it stinks for him.
That stinks for us, the viewer.
It's not a real disease. You know that, right?
I don't know.
Aging backwards, it's not a thing.
They made a movie about
it. When he dies, he's a little baby.
So you know when you're going to die.
Yeah. Unless you get hit by a car like Meet Joe Black.
Mm.
Inglourious Bastards.
I enjoyed that film.
Yeah.
I didn't enjoy...
his accent?
No, I just... his whole storyline wasn't the compelling part for me.
Right.
Yeah. I thought he was fine in it.
Tree of Life.
It was a good film.
I haven't seen it, and I keep wanting to see it.
I think that's one where you'd go over you'd be like, all right, enough with the art. Like, I know that you're not one of those guys.
Yeah.
But there is a threshold that you would be pushed to.
No, but sometimes I like movies that are just like, there's just like a weird thing, and it's art.
I'll tell you, I liked that movie.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a museum by me, the Museum of the Moving Image, that does a lot of screenings, and they were doing a Terrence Malick film festival.
Yeah.
And so, like, they were playing all his movies on the big screen, and I was like, I really like that movie, Tree of Life. And I'm a member, so I could go to the screen, and there were like 5 screenings of it. And I was like, not enough to ever watch it again.
Yeah.
Even in like the way it was intended, like 35 millimeter or whatever. So, take that as you will. It's for posers like me. It's for posers like me to pretend to like. It's that kind of movie.
Well, here's a movie that wasn't for posers, Moneyball.
Yeah.
People like that movie. I like that movie. It was a fun movie.
You know what? At first I thought it was slight. Watched it recently.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great friggin' movie.
Is it?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah,
I've only seen it once.
He is...
I remember thinking he was very good in it.
I can't judge actors.
Yeah.
I don't know if an actor is good or bad in a movie, but that's one of those performances where it's just like, oh no, this is what good acting looks like.
Right. What did he do that was
I don't know, I can't articulate. He was eating an apple at one point while talking.
He's like, how much did that baseball player cost? You're like, this is good.
Yeah, he's so natural.
World War Z.
World War Z.
Have you seen that?
No.
It was good. It didn't follow the book that closely, but it was one of those movies where they like
Mel Brooks wrote the book?
Max Brooks wrote the book.
Was it Madcap?
No.
Like his dad's stuff?
It was Albert Brooks' son.
No.
He's Mel Brooks' son?
I think so.
Oh, I think he's Albert Brooks' son.
No, because Albert Brooks' last name, it's really Einstein.
Oh, that's true. I don't think he's Mel Brooks' son.
What's his name?
Max Brooks. Yeah.
The number one thing that I hate on podcasts that I listen to is when they start arguing about something. He is the son of actress Anne Bancroft and director, producer, writer, and actor Mel Brooks.
Huh. I thought it was Albert Brooks.
And then, first of all, it's obvious, but the next line in his Wikipedia bio, his father is Jewish.
Wait, you're telling me Mel Brooks is Jewish?
Apparently. Huh. Thank God for...
How come he never talks about that? World War Z was one of those movies where they like reshot the third act.
Yeah.
And it worked. Like, I think that's why they continue to like reshoot half of movies, because this was like
in 2011 it worked one time.
This was like one of the first times they did it, and it worked, and apparently like saved the movie and made the movie much better. Right. So now they do it for every movie. 12 Years a Slave, which I haven't seen. And I don't think he's like a huge part in that.
No, I think that was a
like
bit
a cameo
role.
type thing. Mm-hmm. Well, so oh no, that's not the next one. I'll just say this one. Another cameo-esque type role is he's in Deadpool 2, which is a pretty funny cameo because it's a superhero that's invisible. And he's invisible the whole time, and then when he dies, it's because he like falls into a power line, and when that happens, he turns uninvisible, and it's Brad Pitt. So the joke is like this is Brad Pitt the entire time.
Was it his voice the whole time?
I don't think he talked.
Was he eating an apple at any point? Was there just like an
apple? No, he was
floating?
just going. I mean, he was being electrocuted, so he was going. Oh.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah. Fury. Did you see Fury?
I didn't.
Where it's a bunch of guys in a tank.
Tank stuff makes me feel claustrophobic. Tanks and submarines. No, thank you.
Yeah, you would not like this because, it's a bunch of guys in a tank. And sometimes it's like, boy, we're kind of safe in this tank. But if we get out of this tank right now, we're going to be in trouble. Right. But also, if we stay in this tank long enough, they'll throw a grenade in the tank and get us. A lot of situations like that might only happen once in the movie, but
how long was the film?
I don't think it was super long. Shia LaBeouf is in it too.
LaBeouf.
I think he has a mustache, and I believe the story from the set was that he refused to shower and smelled very, very bad because he was being method. You know, and those tank guys during World War II were not showering all the time. They were in the tank trying to win the war.
Okay.
Then Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
I have a very weird question, and I'm just learning about this for the first time.
Okay.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is not
a true story.
Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio's first collaboration. And I'm not talking about Growing Pains, because I was looking up that episode of Growing Pains, and I think it was before Leonardo DiCaprio's character was on the show. Do you know about the show, this movie, The Audition, the short film?
No.
The Audition is a 2015 short film directed by Martin Scorsese. It stars Robert De Niro,
Bobby,
Leonardo DiCaprio,
Leo,
and Brad Pitt,
Billy,
playing fictionalized versions of themselves. And they travel through Asia and compete against each other for a potential role in Scorsese's next film.
Was this just like a Chinese commercial for something?
It was an advertisement for 2 new Asian casinos.
What? I knew it.
It's the most expensive advertisement ever produced. It reportedly had a budget of $70 million.
What?
Topping the previous record of $33 million. The actors reportedly received a $13 million fee each for the 2-day shoot.
How did they make a 25-minute movie with a 2-day shoot?
I don't know.
Even
Marty, he's a magic
Marty
man.
Just paid somebody else, like a B unit director.
I mean, he's in it. Yeah. He plays himself in it. He's also the listed director. The writer is Terrence Winter, who, like, Sopranos guy. He wrote The Wolf of Wall Street. He wrote Vinyl, the TV show.
Oh, right.
He, I think, created Boardwalk Empire.
Okay.
The world is such a weird place.
Yeah, I mean, all of them are super talented, but also it sounds like they were paid enough that it was
to phone it the fuck
it was like,
in.
Yeah, what do you want us to do?
Yeah.
You tell us and we'll do it. I'm not going to, we have no artistic input here, and that's great. That's fine. We actually prefer it this way because now we can spend less time on it.
Yeah. It's just such a bizarre... How was it? It was produced in part by Brett Ratner.
Yeah. That's a lot of 70 million. I mean, Cats is famously like, a giant flop because it costs $100 million to make.
Yeah.
And there's $70 million and nobody bought a ticket to go see it.
16 minutes.
16 minutes long. And it's probably mostly just like shots of the casino.
This is wild.
Yeah, we should watch that.
Yeah, we should. We should watch that and the 1987 film Hunk.
Yeah, and then maybe the episodes of Growing Pains that he's in.
All right. We should have done our homework. Next week we'll do Brad Pitt Part 2 and see all the real shit.
He was also in Ad Astra.
Oh, yeah.
Not to be confused with Ed Asner.
Yeah.
Which I haven't watched yet. And I keep meaning to because it seems like the kind of hard sci-fi movie that's right up my alley.
You want to come over and watch it?
I want to come over and watch The Audition.
Okay.
We'll do a double feature.
All right.
Why? Do you have it?
It's available on streaming.
Well, why do I have to come to your house?
I've been trying to convince my wife to watch it.
Oh, really?
And she's not into it.
Sleep over tonight. We'll watch it.
Okay, I'm in.
Call your wife. Tell her you're sleeping over.
It's fair. You know what? She's not.
She'll be like, thank you. Great.
You know what? I don't even have to call her.
She'll be like, you can do that every week. And you don't have to call me to tell me anymore. I'll just start assuming it. If you like the show, you can find out more by going to tcgt.com. You can support the show by going to Amazon through tcgt.com/Amazon for your Amazon shopping. And by checking out our Patreon at patreon.com/complete guide, where you get weekly episodes of a little show called Books the Podcast, where this week, hey, if you like that Shia LaBeouf talk from earlier...
the time you mentioned him in a sentence.
Yeah. Well, I said he didn't shower.
Yeah.
Tim Books the Podcast. Tim is right in the middle of the book Holes, which Shia LaBeouf stars in, which eventually I'll be watching the movie of. I'll tell you another movie I'll be watching, The Audition. Patreon.com/complete guide. You can get those episodes and all the back episodes of that as well. You can follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/complete guide. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Tom Reynolds.
Follow me at your pal Tim. I was yawning, sorry.
Yeah, and that's all the plugs for right now. And check out The Audition.
Not Audition, because Audition is that
no, this is
film.
The Audition.
Yeah.
The big audition. Like, any of them would have to audition.
Yeah, it's...
Wait, who is it? Brad Pitt, Leo, and who?
Robert De Niro, who's been in most of Martin Scorsese. Yeah.
Bobby, I need you to audition for this one. I'm sorry. You're up against Brad Pitt, Leonardo DiCaprio.
Robert De Niro and Leonardo DiCaprio meet with Martin Scorsese at the City of Dreams Resort in Manila to audition for his newest film. Despite their long histories of working with Scorsese, the two actors learn they are competing against one another for the same role.
Okay, Leo and De Niro.
Yeah.
Because Brad Pitt hasn't been in a Scorsese movie, has he?
Not, I mean, it's weird that we did a whole episode out of it. We never...
Was 7 Years in Tibet Scorsese?
Maybe.
He loves Tibet.
Yeah.
No, because it was Kun... what was the name of that movie? Yeah, he did another Tibetan movie.
Scorsese explains that the potential role to his two muses as they continue to Studio City in Macau.
Mm-hmm.
As De Niro and DiCaprio listen, both exhaust Scorsese with their personal cases as to why they are right for the part. This sounds actually kind of boring.
Yeah.
While the three have dinner in the hotel, Scorsese becomes inspired when he sees an advertisement featuring Brad Pitt. The three make their way towards Japan, where De Niro and DiCaprio make their final cases for the part. Scorsese then suddenly announces that neither are right for the role and quickly parts ways with the two. As De Niro and DiCaprio wonder why they were not selected, they catch Scorsese meeting with Pitt, who had arrived in Japan on short notice. De Niro and DiCaprio then realize that Pitt was chosen for the role, and the two walk off into the night in disappointment. What a fucking film.
So also the idea is that Robert De Niro discovered Brad Pitt through an ad?
Yeah, I guess so.
It's like, who's this? Who's this guy? I've never heard of him. I never considered this.
Cast. Robert De Niro as himself.
Mm-hmm.
Leonardo DiCaprio as himself.
Mm-hmm.
Brad Pitt as himself / Aaron Cross.
All right.
Martin Scorsese as himself. Rodrigo Prieto as himself. And that's it. There's just this other guy in it. He's probably like the waiter or something.
Yeah. And they're like, yeah, you know what? We're not giving people character names.
Oh, no. He's the lead cinematographer for Marty.
Oh, okay. So he probably has like one line where he's like, Marty, we have to get the shot.
Yeah, exactly. And I wonder if they paid him $13 million.
I mean, he probably still got paid like more than he's ever gotten paid for a DP job before.
We should convince a Chinese casino to be like, hey, you know what you need? Like,
God, I would love
an
nothing
8-minute long mini episode of a podcast.
Yeah. And look, we'll do it for $35 million. And we'll let you tell us exactly what we have to say in it. That's fine. Just
you want us to renounce the United States government? Yeah, we'll do it.
That's fine. Yeah. All right. We'll see you next week.
That was a HeadGum podcast.